Frequency is proudly brought to you by Eloise Music and Australian Concert Productions. On this episode of Frequency, we're joined in studio by electronic artist Darren Smith, aka Mote. We're back out at Eloise. This time we're going to be finding out all about synthesizers and monitor speakers. Next, we visit Ableton certified trainer and electronic musician Peter Trimbucker at Tin Shed Studios. And I'm going to be back out on location with Australian Concert Productions to find out how to set up the mixing console for live sound. And then it's time to check out a tasty new track from Mote's live set. So join us as we explore the art and science of music production on Frequency.
Hey guys, and it looks like we've got another great show coming up. Tonight we've got Darren Smith with us, also known as Mote. Nice to have you on the show, Darren.
Thanks, Vic. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Now, Darren, also known as Mote, where did you get your start in music or electronic music, so to speak, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so I started playing clarinet in the school band in primary school, and then it suddenly felt not very cool going into high school. So I started playing drums and did the rock band kind of thing, moving between instruments, learning guitars, and ended up quite focused on my voice and learning how to sing. Started getting classical training and was really hoping to become like a really very well-defined kind of classical singer. But I realized that there was too much focus on myself and I was kind of getting obsessed with the quality of my voice and and at the same time I was getting involved with the doof scene a little bit, the psychedelic trance scene or the outdoor party scene, and there was this onus at that time on distancing oneself from that ego-based kind of platform, and I found that really enticing. And so, and hearing the sounds, I just wanted to create them myself. I wanted to have all these crazy sounds in a box. So that was the start of the Reality Pixie project, and now Mote is, I guess, like an extension where I'm not defined by dance floor styles or genre or anything, and I can be free to compose, in whatever kind of way that I want to, really.
Yeah, and just quickly, what is it that inspires you for your music? I mean...
Yeah, some of the classic, I guess, like Psy chill out artists, Bongle, and lately Amon Tobin with his ISAM multi-visual, multimedia kind of tour, and, gypsy, Indian music, rag and tile, that kind of thing.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to talk further throughout the show. Right now, we're going to head over and see Anthony. He's at Eloise Music to find out more about the synthesizers.
Cool.
Right, we're here again at Eloise Music this week, and we're here with Harry. How are you doing, mate?
Very well, mate. How's yourself?
I'm good, thank you. All right, so we're here with synthesizers this week. Now, I don't know much about synthesizers, so Harry's going to take us through a few features. So how would you use one of these, Harry?
Okay, cool. So a synthesizer is really just a platform to actually make your own sounds on. So a keyboard has all the common kind of piano tones and that sort of thing. A synthesizer is anything you want it to be, really. You synthesize noise, basically.
So what do all these knobs up here do to the sound?
With a synthesizer, you start off with just a basic waveform. So this here is a sine wave. That's the most common one. So once we've picked the wave we want to use, we can then edit the pitch. After we've edited the pitch, we can then use filters. With filters, basically, you're controlling how much bass you want in the sound, how much treble you want in the sound, and you can actually sweep it across and get those typical synthesizer sounds that everyone's familiar with. Basically, after that, we've got the amp. So in the amp, we get to control the shape of the wave. In doing that, we get to control how long the wave lasts, or how quickly it's played, those kinds of things. So if we turn the attack right up, that means it's going to take a long time to come in. those kinds of things. Yeah.
So there's a lot of customization within those controls there.
Definitely, yeah. So you can do just about anything with a synthesizer. There really isn't a sound under the sun that you can't make. Synthesizer like this can basically, I mean, it's got even more presets than this one. So again, hundreds and hundreds of tones, and yeah, it's just kind of an advanced version of this synthesizer, really. So this synthesizer is a little bit more user-friendly. It's got lots of built-in preset tones, ranging from pianos to, you know, trumpets to more synthesizer techno kind of tones. There's not as many knobs to kind of fiddle with because it's already sort of done for you. So like I say, you've got your straightforward piano tones, and built into this too you've got saxophone tones, really studio friendly.
Right, so I know there's different synthesizers, there's analog and there's digital. What are the differences between the two?
So analog synthesizers were sort of the original synthesizer. They've been around since maybe the 60s. That's when they became really popular too. So an analog synthesizer uses voltage, and it's quite complex, and uses physical cables to get different sounds. Digital synthesizers have basically made that a whole lot more simple for us, and it's all in binary. So no more big bulky analog synthesizers, it's all just nice and compact.
And there's also software versions of synthesizers. Yeah,
that's right. So in a lot of software these days for recording, they often have what they call plugins or VSTs, which is basically an effect in your software. And a lot of the time they have built-in synthesizers, so you can actually get a synthesizer up on your computer screen and do exactly what you can do on this, but just on your computer.
All right, great. I think for the uses that we need it for, because of the level of customization, I'd love to take this baby back to the studio. So I'll see you guys back there with this thing.
And welcome back, guys. Well, it looks like Anthony learned some pretty interesting stuff there about synths, and even managed to pick us up a synth. Darren, when it comes to synths, what are your preferences?
Yeah, so I guess I kind of break it down into, you know, needs and want, you know. So for instance, I have at the heart of, I guess, my composition is the Spectrasonics Omnisphere. Mm-hmm. It's a Rompler with synthesis capabilities. So essentially it has heaps of different kind of waveforms and sound sources, and from there you can manipulate and change them and re-synthesize them any way that you like. But particularly what I like about Spectrasonics is the sound quality of their sound samples, and that's always something that is of, you know, prime importance when I'm choosing what kind of synth. So I have my workstation one that, you know, I can just flick to, has heaps of presets. If I want like a big cheesy pad or, you know, some tinkly bell sounds, Omnisphere has all of those, and I can just quickly go through it. And it also has a database where I can select favorites and search for things, so it makes it really hard, makes workflow quite easy. And then you know, I'll go for a lead sound. You know, I don't have any analog gear. I only have digital stuff. But yeah, in terms of, I have for my kind of lead sound, I have a Virus TI as well, which has a really great filter, and that's pretty much everything else. Like the only out of the box kind of thing I have, which is essentially out of the box within the box anyway, because it's an integrated kind of soft synth / hardware synthesizer. So.
And you yourself, do you use multiple different synths across different forms of software, or do you find you stick to one?
Yeah, I mostly use Logic these days just because I find the interface kind of, I don't know, aesthetically appealing, and the workflow really grabs me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
fantastic. And I mean, has that always been the case for you, or did you start out with different stuff earlier on?
Yeah, I started out with Fruity Loop Studio. Yeah, that's what it's called, FL Studio. And I just kind of got disinterested in using generic laptops and wanted to buy Apple at that time, and Logic as well. So yeah, and the ES2 on Logic is amazing.
Fantastic. Well, okay guys, after the break we're going to head out on location with Fraser as he checks out Tin Shed Studios and chats gear and technique with Ableton certified trainer Pete Trimbucker.